Two launches just happened in the same corridor. One sold 99% in a weekend. The other sold 56%. Now, a third one's about to launch in the same District 10 belt with a unit mix that is totally so different. Zero small units, 0 one-bedrooms, 0 two-bedders. Every single one of the 212 homes is 3-bedroom or bigger. That's Amberwood at Holland. And before the preview day, I want to show you two things. What this actually means and which of these 212 units is actually worth balloting for. So stick with me because by the end, I'll give you the site plan, the exact block, and the unit type I'll point to you first, so that it's not the one that the show flat will always push the hardest. Hey, hello, if you are new here, I'm Coach Edmund. I run the real numbers on whether a launch fits your next move, not whether it sells out. So subscribe, I'm covering every big launch this season. Here's what you're getting today, the exact block and unit type I point the client to first. Why is not the one the show flat will push hardest, and the walkaway price, built live the same way we build it with a client before they ever preview. Lian, Holland Link, Holland Plain area, District 10, 99-year lease, 212 units across 8 blocks. 6 of those blocks are 6 stories, and block 48 and 50 and 52 are only 4 stories. We'll come back to why that matters, and the preview has been confirmed 11 September on a Friday, and the actual launch will be on the 26th September. Point number 1, the township bed. Holland Plain isn't just one site, it's actually a government planned transformation area. 34 hectares up to 2,500 homes unveiled by URA back in 2017. And Amberwood is plot 1 of 8. Cindior won plot 1, this site at about 1,432 per square foot per PPR, about 22.2% above the next bidder. Then, in May this year, Cindior won plot 2 as well. So bid, no competition, 1,491 per square foot per PPR, 4.1% higher than what they themselves paid for plot 1. Combined, that's 822 million across 2 sites. Cindior now controls 2 of the 8 sites, 25% of the entire precinct. And plot 3 is already confirmed for bidding this December, roughly 610 units. So there's a lot of noise saying plot 2 pricing higher is real evidence the market believes in this township. But Cindior is the only developer telling that story so far. And just because plot 2 is more expensive doesn't automatically means go for Amberwood now. So I can only caution, watch the difference between the data and the narrative built on that data. Also, and I'm not saying this will happen, just what I see as a possible strategy. Since Cindior did Amberwood for 3-bedroom and above only, will they go smaller on the next plot to open up the buyer's pool? What do you think? Comment below. Now, remember, Holland isn't the only transformation going on right now. Across town, Bukit Timah Turf City, 176 hectares, projected to eventually hold 15,000 to 20,000 homes, is doing the exact same play. Dunearn House was Site 1. Site 2's already been won by Wing Thai and Metro Holdings joint venture for 532 million, roughly about 330 units, expected to launch late this year or early next. And that's why it's not a coincidence that both areas are heating up at once. The Cross Island Line Phase 2 runs Bright Hill through Turf City, through King Albert Park, through to Jurong Lake District. 6 stations, 1 line opening by 2032. Amberwood sits by the King Albert Park end. Dunearn House sits directly on the Turf City stretch of that same line. It's one piece of infrastructure driving both transformation, but they are totally different bets at different prices on different timelines. Reserve Residences at Beauty World is also a few stops down the same downtown line as King Albert Park. Now, it's worth naming, but it's not itself getting a Cross Island Line stop. So it already launched back in 2023, and that's actually the useful part because it's proof that the wider Bukit Timah belt was drawing developer and buyers' attention years before Cross Island Line construction got this far. So the question is, how long will the entire transformation actually take? 5 more years? 10? What do you think? So let me give you an actual case example, the Lentor cluster. 8 launches from 2021 to 2026. Land prices there actually dipped in 2023 where harmonization rules changed, but sales prices held above $2,200 per square foot the whole way through. The most recent Lentor land bid this March hit a record $1,278 per square foot per PPR. And in the east, Pasir Ris Grove area did the same pattern over 5 launches from 2011 to 2018. The first project furthest from the MRT launched at $830 per square foot. the last project nearest the MRT, launched at $1,600 per square foot, up 51%. So townships in Singapore generally can play out this way. Not guaranteed, but there's a proven mold already. Comment township if you want the full Turf City breakdown as its own video. I'm also tracking Site 2 the same way I'm tracking this one. Point number 2, and this is the part nobody's talking about yet. Because Amberwood hasn't launched, 2 other projects in this same broad corridor just did. Dunearn House by Frasers near 6th Avenue MRT launched July 8 this year. 380 units, prices from $2,799 per square foot. Launch weekend averaged about $3,100 per square foot. It sold 212 out of the 380 units, 56% sold. Skye Holland by UOL near Holland Village MRT launched October 2025, 666 units across 2 40-story towers. Prices went from $2,598 per square foot, and the launch weekend averaged $2,956 per square foot. It sold 658 out of the 666, 99% sold. Same broad market, radically different results. That's not random. The difference is the unit mix. Which brings me to Amberwood's actual breakdown: the land, expenses, profit, and benchmark. The land was sold for $1,432 per square foot per PPR. When you add construction, the cost, that implies a break-even near $2,587 per square foot. And the launch price about $2,975 to $3,104 per square foot. The site is GFA harmonized, so the strata PSF you're buying is livable PSF. There's no hidden, non-usable space. So at an average estimate of $3,000 per square foot, the gross rental yield on a 3-bedroom lands about 2.6 to 2.8% even for the condos that is less than 5 years old within 5 minutes walk to 6th Avenue and King Albert MRT. It's below the CPF ordinary account rate, so this is not a yield purchase. The strongest exit is the 2033 to 2036 window. Once the Cross Island Line and the Holland Plain Township have matured, the weakest is a short cycle flip. Because there's no 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom units, means no investor buyer pool at resale. At $2,975 to $3,104 per square foot, Amberwood prices above Skye at Holland $2,598 per square foot launch. They are having a lower land cost, and Skye's leasehold too, so the gap is very real. And below that, roughly $3,400 to $3,900 per square foot that's been modded for the future Peck Hay Road launch in District 9. So the open question is resale liquidity. 212 units means thinner comparable transaction data than a 600-unit development. The first few resales will set the benchmark for everyone who follows. This is going to be the same process we bring you through the benchmark. Before you preview, we walk with you on your walkaway price before you ballot, the right stack pick before you fall in love with just the show flat. So you're not going to do this alone on launch weekend. If you want me to run whether Amberwood's actual numbers work for your plan, not just in general, that's exactly what we do with our clients before the preview. The link is below, it's free, no pressure. Point number 3, the allocation. So Dunearn opened the door wide with 46% of their 380 units are the 2-bedrooms. Lower quantum means more buyers can qualify, and they still only sold 56%. With the real demand really landing on the standard 3-bedroom units, which sold out completely, not the smaller ones. Skye went the opposite way structurally, high density, 240 tower blocks, 660 broad mix, and sold out almost overnight. Amberwood, on the other hand, does neither. 0 1-bedrooms, 0 2-bedrooms. The whole 212 units are 3-bedroom and up. So breakdown is about 35% 3-bedroom, 35% 4-bedroom, and 30% 5-bedroom. This is a pure family format. Cindior isn't trying to open the buyer pool wide like Dunearn did. They are narrowing it on purpose to families and multi-generation households who can clear a 2.5 million plus entry, and also betting on the GCB belt address and the low density carry it instead of unit count liquidity. Perhaps looking at earlier younger projects like 4th Avenue Residences and Royal Green push Cindior towards this larger unit only strategy. Well, that's what I'm thinking. What do you think? How many percent sold will you guess this will hit the launch? One more check before we move to the units. Don't always assume District 10 always climb. 4th Avenue Residences a few minutes away completed in 2022 has been trading flat for the last 3 years. Average $2,516 per square foot on resale. It barely moved since 2023. The matured District 10 stock doesn't automatically keep climbing just because it's District 10. If you want us to help you stress test whether Amberwood's narrow family play or a broader mix like Dunearn's actually fits your plan, that's exactly what a second property strategy session works through with you. The links below is free, there's no pressure for you. Point number 4, Here's the actual unit breakdown. So tell me below, the 2 bedrooms in a 212 units launch, was it smart scarcity or just too narrow for you to decide? And subscribe, because when the official price list drops, I'm going to rerun every number in this video. So in our opinion, the cheapest and the smallest unit in the whole project should likely be, so block 30, we're talking about C1, right, which is this, okay, C1 size. And why is it so? Because this is a very good entry-level 3-bedroom, and that's going to be your lowest quantum. And because it's also facing the entrance, could be one of the reasons it's going to be priced where it is. And since this block is only 6 stories, so the floor level doesn't really matter much as here. But you need to be mindful of what is this, because this is still the entrance. And the key thing is that the drop-off point is going to be here. It's not necessarily going to be the car park area, because the car park area entrance is going to be here instead. So that's something more lucky. And if you like entrance kind of development where you have the side gate and you can drop off easily when you are taking your Grab early rush in the morning, I believe block 30 being the sensitive price point for the entry-level 3-bedroom is something that you can consider. So let us take a look at the show out of C1 right now. So C1 is 872 square feet, and you can see the ideal part for this 3-bedroom unit is that they are allowing you to fit in even all the queen beds in all the rooms. We're talking about room 1, room 2, and of course the master room. So it's a very typical well-designed layout, a very well-designed layout, because when you come in from the entrance, you do have a big white space where you can double this area like almost as a display or a pantry area if you want to. So this is where it becomes more functional. So in this layout and the design, I will not place the dining this approach. I will likely place it this way in terms of my dining. Okay, so that it kind of give you a little bit more space when you come in. And being a 3-bedroom unit, you definitely have the corridor space that you go. And I think advantage is here that you still have a household shelter being placed into a 872 square feet unit. So being harmonized, this has allowed the efficiency usage of space. And so this being an entry-level 3-bedroom in District 10, I think this is going to be priced very sensitive for those who want to own the address as well as own a proper 3-bedroom for future family planning. So if you need 2 generations under one roof, then block 34, which is the type D5P at 1,249 square feet, carries a very genuine junior master bedroom alongside the main master. And for the same block, D4P, which is 1,227 square feet, does the same thing, although it's slightly smaller. So later on, we'll take a look at the layout for both, then you can decide which one is it. And more importantly is whether you have in-laws coming in to stay with you and whether you want that kind of separation where the junior master is different away. So let us study and look at the layout right now. So let us take a look at the 4-bedroom layout for DP4. This is a 1,207 square feet unit, and this is a very typical 4-bedroom unit where your entrance comes in. I think one of the advantages is that there is also the dry kitchen as well as the yard space that you can have and the normal wet kitchen, right? And for all the 4 bedrooms, it actually comes with the household shelter. So it is a very typical when you come in, you have quite a large living and the dining area as well as a longer balcony for 4 bedrooms. I think one of the advantage of this layout is that they have tucked all the bedrooms into the corners, which is you have the master bedroom, you have the junior master, as well as the 3rd and 4th bedroom, which all of them will be able to consist of a queen size bed, and you're able to put in your side tables and all. I think one of the key configuration in the past where a lot of people, when they're buying 4 bedrooms, they always have to sacrifice one of the bedroom to become a super single, or maybe it's not even enough for as a room. So with this configuration at 1,200, because of harmonized, they are able to kind of make it more efficient. And this is something that I think from a user perspective, you're getting 3 toilets this time around. If you have been following my videos, you know that I'm quite particular, like if you are staying in a 4-bedroom and you only get 2 toilets, that may not be enough. So, but for this, we have your master room with your own walk-in wardrobe, as well as a master bath, which is great. A junior master, where you have your own toilet, that's great. And the other bedroom 3 and 4, they will share 1 bath together at the same time. So very functional, very efficient. But if you use D4P to compare to D5P, then you will see a huge difference in terms of the layout. So D5P is slightly bigger, okay? But what this provides you is a full configuration of the entire space usage. So what's the difference? The difference is that when you come in, you do not enter into your kitchen directly, okay? So this is one aspect. It kind of gives you a wall in between where you can put in your display rack or maybe even your shoe cabinet. And this time around, they have not done a long balcony, or should I say long entrance, where most of the developments right now, they always tend to do that. So you kind of save your foyer space without spending cost on it. And when you come in, again, you have a landscape layout where your balcony is longer and you're able to fit in your dining and your living space in a longer structure. So this configuration, I believe it will be very popular among a lot of families because you kind of have a very well C-shaped kind of design, and you have an island countertop that you can place in the center. So I believe as the developments change and our consumer behavior changes, a lot of younger generations perhaps would like a kind of semi-enclosed kitchen instead of the typical enclosed kind of kitchen. So this gives you more space that you can work with, a C-shape. So you have more space, especially if you are housing guests. You like this kind of area where people can come in and out. So the kitchen and the living and dining hall doesn't split, right? They kind of merge together as one big area where they can house guests. And typically the rest of the rooms are quite similar. You have your master room with your walk-in wardrobe as well as a bath. Your junior master will have their own junior master bath, as well as your bedroom 3 and 4 will having your toilet at the same time. And again, all the rooms are able to fit in queen bed. And the master room, you can even put in a European king size bed. So all in all, for 1,200 plus square feet unit, I believe these two configurations are going to be very popular, especially if you are going to buy in District 10 and you're going to hold it a little bit longer beyond the 5 years mark, then this configuration is for you. So this is the part where most people scanning a brochure will actually miss entirely. So 6 of the 8 blocks are the standard 6-story. Block 48, 50, as well as 52, take note, there's only 4-story. And they are considered the top-tier Luxe units. They all come with private lift straight to the unit, and they are sitting on the north edge of the site, which means they will be facing the future end parks directly. And for Block 48, the D79, okay, 791313 square feet is the 4-bedroom Luxe, as well as the Block 50, the type E4L, okay, the E4L, 1,496 square feet unit. So there are different configurations in the Luxe, although they are only 4-story high. And these are generally more boutique, lower rise, and they are facing the landed, which means in terms of pricing, it will also be very, very premium. So I want to draw attention to the 4-bedroom comparison between Block 40, which is D6P, right, D6P. So I want to draw attention to the 4-bedroom comparison between Block 40, type D6P, which is 1,259 square feet, as well as Block 48, D7L, 1,313 square feet. You can see the difference between both sizes are not a lot, but in terms of the configuration, I would say it makes a huge difference. So let us take a look at the D6P, which is 1,259 square feet unit. So this is a very typical design where you come in and you have your living hall area, your semi-enclosed kitchen space, where just now I was already explaining. This is very useful for families who like to house guests, and it kind of merge and combine the living and the kitchen at the same time. So you have the typical corridor space where every of the rooms are tucked at one corner, and every rooms will have their own privacy. So if you look at D7L, then this 1313 configuration will be somebody who actually prefers, first of all, you have a luxury of your private. This private lift lobby actually opens up to have your own private space here as a junior master. The moment when you come up, you just come up on the lift, go to your room, and nobody in the family will actually know that you're back. Okay, and for this configuration, the 3 bedrooms are all tucked in the other corner. So this is typically what we call a dumbbell configuration. So it's very common for us to see dumbbell configuration in the 2 bedrooms. And recent years, we have seen dumbbell units in the 3 bedrooms. And so for 4-bedroom units to have a dumbbell configuration is rather rare. And what is the advantage of having this for a 4-bedroom is that you typically save more space in terms of corridor. So let us just draw your attention for here. So the only corridor space that you use, and because it's a dumbbell where the junior master is tucked at the other corner, you do not need an extension of space. But if you look at a typical 1,259 square feet unit, you can see the entire corridor space is definitely much, much longer. So this is also one factor that we want to think that when you're buying a 4-bedroom unit, are you considering to factor in this kind of space because you're paying every single square feet? Or will you rather prefer the conventional layout where you have a little bit more privacy because it's longer and the bedrooms are all going to tuck at all the way to the end? Right, so there's no right or wrong depending on the type of units you choose. It really depends on your own personal preference. And typically for 1313 square feet, because this is considered as the block where there's only 4-story units, you will want to also consider something that if you are only on the 4th floor, will need a private lift to go out to the 4th floor. Okay, so this is of course open for debate. And share with me your views. Alright, if let's say today you're buying a luxury 4-bedroom units, would you, because of the lift, go for the Luxe blocks, or will you just choose the normal 4-bedroom units instead? Alright, so this is share with me your comments below, and I really like to hear what you're saying. This is what we'll actually build with a client before they even step into a preview. The same 4 factors we run for buyers before any launch. What works? First mover position in an 8-parcel CCR township. Subsequent plots will benchmark higher. Is a GFA harmonized, which means strata PSF is livable PSF, no hidden non-usable space. Lian is an established development with a track record of delivery. Cross Island Line transformation upside if they are realized on schedule. And here's why you need to pause. Gross yield of 2.6 to 2.8% sits below the CPF OA rate. So this is not a yield play by any measure. 212 units means thinner resale comparable data and slower price discovery. For Royal Green, 278 units near the MRT and schools, only 6 profitable transactions for 3 and 4 bedrooms since 2019. Profits are on an average less than 200,000. No investor buyer pool at the resale narrows the exit to family and legacy buyers only. King Albert Park MRT is functional but not exceptional today. There's no Thomson East Coast Line or Circle Line connectivity, and the walk time itself is also something that we need to dispute. Because the developer says about 7 minutes with a future pedestrian connection through the community plane, but this is independent research. So ask yourself before the ballot day, not after, are you buying the block and unit that fits your household, or the one the sales gallery is steering everyone towards this week? If you want us to run your numbers against Amberwood before preview day, your benchmark, your walkaway price, the right stack for your plan, that's what a second property strategy session is for. It's free, there's no pressure, the link and WhatsApp is below.